Every Linux distribution in existence, Part 2. In this part of the series, you will see Linux distros designed for specific purposes, such as hacking, pen testing, otherwise known as penetration testing, and security research. These include Kali Linux, Pt.2, BackBox Linux, Kodachi Linux, BlackArch Linux, Unix and Tails OS, as well as many other privacy-focused distros. First, we'll take a look at Kali Linux, one of the most popular security testing distros out there. Kali Linux is a Debian-derived Linux distribution designed for digital forensics and penetration testing. It is maintained and funded by Offensive Security. Kali Linux has approximately 600 penetration testing programs, tools, including Armitage, a graphical cyber attack management tool, Nmap, a port scanner, Wireshark, a packet analyzer, Metasploit, penetration testing framework, John the Ripper, a password cracker, Skullmap, automatic SQL injection and database takeover tool, Air Cracking, a software suite for penetration testing wireless LANs, Burp Suite and OWASP Zap web application security scanners, etc. It was developed by Mattia Haroni and Devin Kearns of Offensive Security through the rewrite of Backtrack, their previous information security testing Linux distribution based on Knoppix. The name was inspired by the Hindu goddess Kali. Kali Linux is based on the Debian testing branch. Most packages Kali uses are imported from the Debian repositories. Kali Linux's popularity grew when it was featured in multiple episodes of the TV series Mr. Robot. Tools highlighted in the show and provided by Kali Linux include BlueSniff, Bluetooth Scanner, Scare, John the Ripper, Metasploit Framework, Nmap, Shellshock, and Get. The tagline of Kali Linux and Backtrack is "The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear," which is displayed on some backgrounds. Kali Linux has a dedicated project set aside for compatibility and porting to specific Android devices, called Kali NetHunter. It is the first open-source Android penetration testing platform for Nexus devices, created as a joint effort between the Kali community member Binky Bear and Offensive Security. It supports wireless 802.11 frame injection, one-click mono-evil access point setups, hid keyboard, teensy-like attacks, as well as bad USB MIDM attacks. Backtrack, Kali's predecessor, contained a mode known as Forensic Mode, which was carried over to Kali via libboot. This mode is very popular for many reasons, partly because many Kali users already have a bootable Kali USB drive or CD, and this option makes it easy to apply Kali to a forensic job. When booted in forensic mode, the system doesn't touch the internal hard drive or swap space and auto-mounting is disabled. However, the developers recommend that users test these features extensively before using Kali for real-world forensics. Now let's look at BlackArch, a popular alternative to Kali. BlackArch is a penetration testing distribution based on Arch Linux that provides a large amount of cybersecurity tools. It is an open-source distro created specially for penetration testers and security researchers. The repository contains more than 2,800 tools that can be installed individually or in groups. BlackArch Linux is compatible with existing Arch Linux installs. BlackArch is similar in usage to both Pt.2 and Kali Linux when fully installed, with a major difference being BlackArch is based on Arch Linux instead of Debian. BlackArch only provides this desktop environment in the slim ISO but provides multiple pre-configured window managers in the full ISO. Similar to Kali Linux and Pt.2, BlackArch can be burned to an ISO image and run as a live system. BlackArch can also be installed as an unofficial user repository on any current Arch Linux installation. BlackArch currently contains 2,837 packages and tools, along with their dependencies. BlackArch is developed by a small number of cybersecurity specialists and researchers that add the packages as well as dependencies needed to run these tools. We'll now take a look at Pt.2. Pt.2 is a Linux distribution based on Debian with a focus on security, privacy, and development. Pt is based on Debian's testing branch, with a Linux 5.10 kernel. It follows a rolling release development model. The desktop environment is Mate, and the default display manager is LightDM. The system is certified to run on devices which have a minimum of 256 MB of RAM, and it is suitable for both 32-bit, i386, and 64-bit, M64, processor architectures. Moreover, the project is available for ARM7, ARMv, architectures. In June 2017, the Parrot team announced they were considering to change from Debian to Devuan, mainly because of problems with systemd. As of January 21, 2019, the Parrot team has begun to phase out the development of their 32-bit, i386, ISO. In August 2020, the Parrot OS officially supports LightAwade's desktop. Parrot has multiple editions that are based upon Debian, with various desktop environments available. Parrot Security. Parrot is intended to provide a suite of penetration testing tools to be used for attack mitigation, security research, forensics, and vulnerability assessment. It is designed for penetration testing, vulnerability assessment and mitigation, computer forensics and anonymous web browsing. Parrot Home. Parrot Home is the base edition of Parrot designed for daily use, and it targets regular users who need a LightAwade system on their laptops or workstations. The distribution is useful for daily work. Parrot Home also includes programs to chat privately with people, encrypt documents, or browse the internet anonymously. The system can also be used as a starting point to build a system with a custom set of security tools. Parrot ARM. Parrot ARM is a LightAwade Parrot release for embedded systems. It is currently available for Raspberry Pi devices. Parrot Architect and IHT. Parrot OS with nothing pre-installed. Install any software and do with this edition. There are multiple tools in Parrot OS which are specially designed for security researchers and are related to penetration testing. A few of them are listed below, more can be found on the official website. Tor. Tor, also known as the Onion Router, is a distributed network that anonymizes internet browsing. It is designed in a way that the IP address of the client using Tor is hidden from the server that the client is visiting. Also, the data and other details are hidden from the client's Internet Service Provider, ISP. Tor network uses hops to encrypt the data between the client and the server. Tor network and Tor browser are pre-installed and configured in Parrot OS. OnionShare. OnionShare is an open-source utility that can be used to share files of any size over the Tor network securely and anonymously. OnionShare then generates a long random URL that can be used by the recipient to download the file over the Tor network using Tor browser. AnonSurf. AnonSurf is a utility that makes the operating system communication go over Tor or other anonymizing networks. According to Parrot, AnonSurf secures your web browser and anonymizes your IP. Now, let's look at BackBox Linux. BackBox is a penetration test and security assessment-oriented Ubuntu-based Linux distribution providing a network and informatics systems analysis toolkit. It includes a complete set of tools required for ethical hacking and security testing. The main aim of BackBox is providing an alternative, highly customizable and well-performing system. BackBox uses the Light Window Managers. It delivers a fast, effective, customizable and complete experience. It also has a very helpful community behind it. It includes some of the most used security and analysis Linux tools, aiming for a wide spread of goals, ranging from web application analysis to network analysis, from stress tests to sniffing, also including vulnerability assessment, computer forensic analysis and exploitation. Part of the power of this distribution comes from its Launchpad repository core, constantly updated to the latest stable version of the most known and used ethical hacking tools. The integration and development of new tools in the distribution follows the open source community, particularly the Debian Free Software Guidelines criteria. Second to last is Honix. Honix is a Kickscure-based security-hardened Linux distribution. Its main goals are to provide strong privacy and anonymity on the Internet. The operating system consists of 2 virtual machines, a workstation and a Tor gateway, running Debian GNU/Linux. All communications are forced through the Tor network. The Honix Wiki includes a collection of operational security guides for tips on preserving anonymity while online. Additionally, a number of original content guides on which security tools to use, and how to use such tools, have been added over time. This includes how to access the I2P and Freenet networks over Tor. Lastly, Tails OS, and as a bonus, we will look at Qubes OS, right after Tails OS. Tails, or the Amnesic Incognito Live system, is a security-focused Debian-based Linux distribution aimed at preserving privacy and anonymity. It connects to the Internet exclusively through the anonymity network Tor. The system is designed to be booted as a live DVD or live USB, and leaves no digital footprint on the machine unless explicitly told to do so. It can also be run as a virtual machine, with some additional security risks. The Tor project provided financial support for its development in the beginnings of the project, and continues to do so alongside numerous corporate and anonymous sponsors. Tails was first released on June 23, 2009. It is the next iteration of development on Incognito, a discontinued Gen 2-based Linux distribution. The Tor project provided financial support for its development in the beginnings of the project. Tails also received funding from the Open Technology Fund, Mozilla, and the Freedom of the Press Foundation. Laura Poitras, Glenn Greenwald, and Barton Gelman have each said that Tails was an important tool they used in their work with National Security Agency whistleblower Edward Snowden. From Release 3.0, Tails requires a 64-bit processor to run. Tails' pre-installed desktop environment is GNOME 3. The system includes essential software for functions such as reading and editing documents, image editing, video watching and printing. Other software from Debian can be installed at the user's behest. Tails includes a unique variety of software that handles the encryption of files and Internet transmissions, cryptographic signing and hashing, and other functions important to security. It is pre-configured to use Tor with multiple connection options. It tries to force all connections to use Tor and blocks connection attempts outside Tor. For networking, it features a modified version of Tor browser with the inclusion of uBlock Origin, instant messaging, email, file transmission and monitoring local network connections for security. By design, Tails is amnesic. It runs in the computer's random access memory, RAM, and does not write to a hard drive or other storage medium. The user may choose to keep files, applications or some settings on their Tails drive in persistent storage. Though the persistent storage is encrypted by default, it is not hidden and detectable by forensic analysis. While shutting down, Tails overwrites most of the used RAM to avoid a cold boot attack. Now, I will show you Qubes OS. Qubes OS is a security-focused desktop Linux distribution that aims to provide security through isolation. Virtualization is performed by XN, and user environments can be based on, with official support, Fedora or Debian, or, with community support. These templates may be somewhat less stable, since the Qubes developers do not test them. Honix, Ubuntu, Arch Linux, CentOS, or Gen 2 among other operating systems. For example, Qubes Windows tools support Microsoft Windows 7 and later. Systems like Qubes are referred to in academia as Converged Multi-Level Secure, MLS, systems. Other proposals of similar systems have surfaced and SecureView is a commercial competitor. However, Qubes OS is the only system of the kind actively being developed under a free and open source software, FOSS, license. Qubes implements a security by isolation approach. The assumption is that there can be no perfect, bug-free desktop environment. Such an environment counts millions of lines of code and billions of software, hardware interactions. One critical bug in any of these interactions may be enough for malicious software to take control of a machine. To secure a desktop, a Qubes user takes care to isolate various environments, so that if one of the components gets compromised, The malicious software would get access to only the data inside the environment. In CUBs, the isolation is provided in 2 dimensions. Hardware controllers can be isolated into functional domains, for example network domains, USB controller domains, whereas the user's digital life is divided into domains with different levels of trust. For instance, work domain, most trusted, shopping domain, random domain, less trusted. Each of those domains is run in a separate virtual machine, VM. CUBs VMs, by default, have passwordless root access, for example passwordless sudo. FE Secure Boot is not supported out of the box, but this is not considered a major security issue. CUBs is not a multi-user system. Alrighty, that's it for this video folks. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe, and do enable notifications, so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.